It's the Friday News Roundup. We're talking about how an investigation goes deeper at a home in Olney, a summer push to get more folks registered to vote, plus creative ways Philadelphians are dating offline, and only for our CityCast Philly neighbors, where to get the best tequila in the city, because today is National Tequila Day. It's Friday, July 24th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Joining me this week at the Fiddler Club is CityCast Philly senior producer Abby Fritz. Hey, Abby.
Good morning, Trenae.
It has felt good this week. A little chilly in the mornings, but the air quality so much better than last week. I am really happy about that.
Yeah, and I didn't mind the intermittent rain and beautiful some 70, low 80 days. Love to see it. But before we get into the show, we've got to ask our listeners one more time. I know you've probably been hearing it, but we are still hoping to get some more responses for our annual listener survey.
That's right.
We want to learn more about you guys and what you want from CityCast so we can make the best possible podcast and newsletter for our listeners and readers.
And even if you took it last year, we would be so grateful if you took it again, since we can't use last year's data anymore. So head over to citycast.fm/survey to take the survey. And it only takes a few minutes. It's about 7 minutes. And that's citycast.fm/survey.
You could also win a $250 Visa gift card.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, some cash and some CityCast swag if you take the survey. So definitely don't skip it out. That's citycast.fm/survey.
Let's get into some stories of the week, Abby. We've been following this really evolving story. Neighbors in Olney may have noticed that there's an increase of police and FBI in the neighborhood because they're investigating a man named Eugene Horsch's home. They're excavating, actually, at the property. This week, officers started digging up at the property looking for a specific pipe, which is all part of this investigation. Horsch currently faces federal charges related to fake federal IDs, firearm possessions, and other state charges.
Yeah, this story has been absolutely wild to follow. When it initially came out last month, I couldn't believe the details of the story. And I mean, so many people have been talking about the case on social media.
And I think there's some misinformation too as well.
Yes.
I've heard large amount of numbers of possible victims.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about murder related to this case, but right now this is just an investigation into Horsch, who is only right now has charges against him related to drugs and firearms and misidentification materials. So how he got picked up initially is also kind of wild. He was in Old City near Independence Mall when a park ranger sensed a weird vibe coming from his car, so he went to investigate. And the ranger thought it was just a routine traffic investigation. He was illegally parked. And then he heard a woman from the car basically say that she was worried someone was going to hurt her. So he goes up to the car and notices both Horsch and the woman with him acting strangely, and then quickly finds switchblades, a cattle prod, cocaine, fentanyl, a fake federal badge, and loaded guns in the car. So quickly, this escalates really quickly. The woman who was with him had a fake ID on her with the name of a woman who has been reported missing. And the woman says that Horsch made this ID for her. So there's already a lot, there are a lot of layers to this case. And this is just the initial interaction between this ranger and Horsch.
And now this all led to investigators looking into his home, which is on West Chew Avenue. And both Philly police and the FBI are investigating. They discovered materials to grow cannabis, a gun, and containers filled with chemicals. On top of that, there also was a letter found that makes references to hurting people and the serial killer Ted Bundy.
Yeah, the containers with all the chemicals, that alone, I think, has brought a lot of attention to this case. Those things can be used for a lot of different things. The chemicals in them are actually why the FBI is getting involved, at least according to the Inquirer.
Because it's kind of like, why do you even have those chemicals?
Yeah.
Why so much of it?
Exactly. What can they do with it? Yeah. And, it could be used for making drugs. Like there are instances of that happening. But also, I think people know this type of thing from seeing Netflix documentaries about murders. This can be used to dispose of people as well, or remains. So, the authorities have made it clear that they are looking into this aspect of the case, but they do not have any definitive evidence at the moment. And, there have been homicide investigators on the premises, but right now we do not have any confirmation that Horsch is connected to anything relating to murders or missing people.
Mm-hmm. I also read in the Inquirer this week that the excavation that they're doing at this home is really impacting residents who said that, streets are blocked off and it's actually impacting their business. So I'm sure that, everyone wants to kind of get to the end of this investigation as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see, how it continues to evolve. I'm sure the authorities will keep us up to date.
Now, Abby, we did mention that there are missing women. Do we know any information about who they are?
Yeah, so the first woman that may or may not be connected to this case is Blair Tonzelli, whose name was on the fake ID that was used by the person in the car with Horsch when he was initially arrested. What we know about her is that she went missing in 2023, and later officers found bank cards with her name on them at Horsch's home. The other woman is Amy McHale, who was last known to be at Horsch's property, and she used to be married to Horsch's dad, who also lived at that property at the time of her disappearance, and that was about 10 years ago. So, those are the two women that people are speculating may or may not be connected to this case. But again, investigators are looking into it, but we don't have any definitive information. They have not said if there's been any remains or anything found on the property that connect them directly other than these IDs, which, we can't draw conclusions from fake IDs alone.
Right.
Horsch's dad is like a whole other character in this case. R.C. Horsch, he was an erotic photographer and filmmaker. He also wrote horror fiction novels and movies, and he was convicted of drug manufacturing and forgery when he was alive. At one point, federal agents tried to raid his home meth lab. He then escaped to New Zealand and then came back to the U.S. and was eventually arrested in Florida. So, he is not insignificant, I think, when we're thinking about this case, especially his connection to Amy McHale. He did end up doing time in prison off and on, and he eventually ended up at the home on Chew Avenue and then died in 2025. So, there's a lot of layers to this case here, and, We'll keep following it. Authorities are definitely aware of how much attention this case is getting. And, we haven't heard much from Eugene Horsch's attorneys. The only thing that they have said is that what was found on the property belonged to his dad. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the mystery continues here.
All right. Well, we'll keep updated on this story and the details that come out after it. All right. We've got more news after the break. Fiddler Club might be Philadelphia's best kept secret. It's a members-only club designed for the way people actually live today, all under one roof. You can start your morning with a workout, take meetings from a co-working space or private office, then end the day with dinner, drinks, bowling, or time with friends. Located right across from 30th Street Station, Fiddler Club brings together fitness, work, dining, and social life in one incredible space. The club features a 2-floor fitness center, indoor pool, golf simulator, cold plunge, co-working spaces, private rooms and offices, 2 bars, a restaurant, private balconies, and even complimentary babysitting for members. So whether you're looking to be healthier, grow your network, get more done, or just have a better place to spend time in the city, Fiddler Club gives you a place for all of it. Learn more and apply today at fiddlerclub.com. That's fiddlerclub.com. So shifting things now, I have been waiting for a program like this because I have been so just incredibly frustrated about low voter participation when it comes to local elections. You know what I mean? Like getting people into the fold. So this summer, you might start noticing city officials are going to be in your neighborhood talking about voting. The city commissioner's office is launching a new initiative that they're calling Between the Ballots. It's a series of events. And this series really is meant for kind of like just break down these like misconceptions about what voting is. Residents, we get to ask like any voting related questions. People can register to vote, apply for a mail-in ballot. You can learn like the ins and outs of that. And they want to get folks to sign up to be poll workers during election day, which I think you get paid for that. And so the goal really is to not only get people to become voters, but to participate, going to the polls, putting your mail-in ballot into a mailbox.
Yeah, and I think like this type of event definitely helps people clear up any misconceptions about voting. I think sometimes a lack of voter participation can just be because people don't fully understand. Like one thing the city commissioner's office mentioned about this particular initiative is that they really want to remind people you don't have to bring identification to the polls with you. You have rights, you know, as a person in this country, and voting is for the people, and there are so many misconceptions about it. And I think that's really like what this is about, is going into communities, trying to clear up any questions people have, trying to break down the barrier for people that maybe haven't thought of or don't know how to register to vote, and then getting people even more involved with signing up to be poll workers or answering more questions. So,
and the reason why we're bringing this up is because so many times when we have election night coverage, we stay up or wake up really, really early here on CityCast Philly. That's one of the numbers or the metrics we look at when it comes to elections, and especially like the last primary election when there were like 3 top candidates for the 3rd congressional district.
Yeah.
Those were the candidates that want to represent a large part of Philly in Washington, D.C. And sometimes races can be so close, like a few hundred or a few thousand votes could determine that. And so that's why we talk about voter participation, or one of the reasons why we talk about voter participation, because it could be so close when it comes to candidates. But let's talk about the numbers. Historically, Philly has experienced low voter turnout.
Yeah, I mean, even just this last primary, we had 22.32% of registered voters cast a ballot. And that's not even like eligible voters. That's of the people registered, 22% of them casted a vote. So it's like, you know, that's not a great number. And I mean, that's up from last year, which is even crazier. Last primary, it was 16.61%.
And to be clear, right, because we have closed primaries here in Pennsylvania, which means you have to be registered to a party in a primary. And that's if you vote for a local election, a state or federal race. And if you're independent, meaning you don't have any party affiliation, you can't vote for a candidate during primaries. You can only vote for ballot questions. But in some states, and it varies from state to state, there might be open primaries. In that case, all registered voters can participate. And so over the years, there's been questions and urges to get our primaries open so that everyone can participate. But right now, as it stands in Pennsylvania, we do have closed primaries, and that also impacts who's participating in elections.
Yeah, and I think like regular elections, like in November, tend to have more turnout. But when it comes to local, even when a mayor is on the ballot, it's not great. It's not great. We just don't have a lot of people show out in Philly. And that is not just, in Philadelphia. That's across the country, that within local elections, turnout is not great.
The city commissioner's office says that around 65,000 eligible people are not registered to vote in Philly. And I mean, that many people, like I said, could change an outcome of an election, could be the difference maker in an election.
Yeah, and I was reading a really interesting article from the National Civic League that was talking about a study that was done on local elections across the country, and roughly around 15 to 27% of eligible voters actually voted in past years. And another thing they really emphasized too was like what is most damaging about this too is the people that do come out are not representative of the entire communities that they're voting for. So it's really like, the type of person that is voting is not the average person in an area. And the more people that vote, the more types of people are going to be represented. So that's like, another thing to think about in this is not just that there aren't a lot of people voting, but it's particular types of people are voting, and they're going to choose our elected officials and drive the city. And that's not what we want.
So that basically they might not be representative of your voice and your thoughts and how you see your community.
Exactly. And that's a problem that, nationally people are struggling to address.
I mean, when you mentioned this particular research, I also kind of thought, well, this also shows another story, and that is people are disconnected from our political system. I think there's a disconnect here. And I would then say that is on our elected officials at that point. But also in Philly, there might be some sort of like, this also could be used kind of like in a good thing for one particular party, right?
Yeah.
If you kind of know that, not a lot of people are going to be voting anyway. So your concentration goes to certain specific neighborhoods, right? During election season, during your campaign season. And, I also think like you end up only talking to those voters, like you just mentioned, who participate. So you end up losing out the voices and the stories and the issues. There is a disconnect from elected officials and a disconnect from voters. And people are not paying attention. They are not participating. What are the reasons for that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the question. And it's interesting to have the backdrop, too, of like past years in national elections, like presidential elections. We've had the highest turnout of U.S. elections in decades. I mean, like 66% of the voting eligible population turned out for the 2020 presidential election. So it's like, people know about voting, and people, I mean, at least 66% of people understand that, if you want to have a say in the president and who is running the country, you vote. So it's not like people don't understand. I think, the emphasis needs to be on that. Local elections
matter too.
Yes, they also matter, and you will see directly in your community these elections mattering. So
especially like local judges and state reps and ward leaders and such. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And if you want to dig into this issue a little bit more, in the newsletter earlier this week, newsletter editor Siani Colon highlighted statistics about young voters in Pennsylvania. The Commonwealth is dead last in a national study of youth voters' registration rates. And these are folks who are 18 and who are eligible. Only 22%. 22% of young people. So we're missing the mark here. We're missing their voice. This is the next generation coming into the fold. And so there's a disconnect is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm really glad Philly is like really trying to take this registration head on. And I mean, it's interesting too, like along party lines across the state, Democrats have had an increase of 25,000 people registered to the party just this year. And Republicans saw a drop of more than 4,500. And as of this month, unaffiliated voters are up by 32,000. So, I mean, people are registering, right? We've just got to
participate, like actually get into the booth or send your mail-in ballot.
And continue to keep registrations going up, especially for younger folks, it sounds like.
Okay, so if you want to go to one of these events and get more information about this ongoing series, Between the Ballots, head over to the city commissioner's website. These events will be happening Tuesdays and Thursdays through the end of August. And the next one is happening in the 3rd District around 40th and Market on Tuesday, July 28th. We've got a link in the show notes with all that information. All right, we'll be back after this quick break. Abby, Philly is so creative in approaching dating. There's a group of local comedians who hosted not only just a stand-up show, but they connected it and made it a speed dating event as well. And this all happened at the City Winery in Center City this month. Now, obviously, there was wine drinking too, which, kind of helps open people up a little bit more.
Loosen everyone up a bit. Yeah.
It was an hour-long comedy set. Now, get this, there was like candles around on the set. So it's a little romantic a little bit. And then after the comedy show, everyone's feeling good because they've laughed for an hour. And then they begin to rotate, switch seats to meet one another. And it's all in a way to get people off dating apps and talking and meeting in person.
Yes.
How do you feel about this kind of using comedy as a way also for like dating? Do you think this is helpful?
I mean, I haven't done it before, so I can't say, but I think there is really something to meeting people in person and seeing how they are, like in normal situations. And comedy, it seems like could really loosen people up and break
be
down
sort of like
barriers.
The icebreaker. Yeah. Like, do you remember that joke he said about blah, 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 blah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you see what people think is funny. You see if you have a similar humor. And I mean, like, I've done the dating app thing, and my current partner I met in person, IRL. So that says something, I think, about the effectiveness of virtual versus, in person. And I think, like, it's really great to see how people carry themselves. How do you gauge attraction and chemistry if you're not in person, right?
Right.
So I think there's something to this, and I think the comedy could really get people in a headspace to be open and to show more of their true colors rather than just like a traditional speed dating experience where you're just like one after the other and you're like, hi, this is what I do for work. This is what I like to do for fun. What's your name? I'm into it.
I feel like I would be curious to learn more about like people's expectations. Like, what is your expectation? Are you expecting, let's just meet, like simple as that. I want to meet different people, see who I vibe with, right? Or are your expectations like, no, I'm going to fall in love? Hopefully, there is sort of a balance of like, don't set your expectations too high. But then you never know because love, I don't know, love is something that can come up unexpectedly. I don't know. I don't know.
I think there's probably a good balance between like projecting your fantasies onto someone and to like being honest with yourself and the other person about how you truly feel about them. Because if you just really want to find someone, you can probably find someone.
Yeah,
but
right.
Are they going to be a good fit?
Right.
Are you going to be able to create the life you want with this person? Like, that's where I think, you have to be realistic and you have to come to these situations feeling good about yourself, feeling confident and knowing what you want and asking the right questions. And I think speed dating could do that.
And the reason why we're bringing this up too is because actually dating in Philadelphia is kind of important because according to a report I saw from CBS, in Philly, 62% of people over the age of 20 are unmarried. So there's a lot of singles in here, in Philly, I should say. So I don't know, but it's, unclear if everyone is working to be married or coupled up that remains unclear.
Yeah, totally. And
or if they're doing it casually or whatever.
I love to, like, there are so many. This is one very specific, unique dating event in Philly, but there are so many other ones. Like, I saw one the other day that's called Pitch a Friend Philly. It's like a group, and basically what they do is they, like, ask people to come and bring your single eligible friend, and you make a slideshow about why people should want to give your friend a chance. All the great qualities about them. And I think that's a really fun angle to that. There's also like I know Canal Side and Manayunk. They host singles happy hours in collaboration with Jigsaw Dating. Something I like about those is that they have like age groups. So it's like 30 to 45 or like 40 to 55. So like,
see, that's important.
Yes.
Right. Well, a lot of people have been trying also to meet people at run clubs. Do you know about this? Like,
oh, I've heard the lore. And I mean, I did meet my current partner at
a run club?
Not a run club, but a rugby team.
Okay,
I joined
so like
a rugby
an
team.
athletic,
yes.
So an athletic sort of event group,
physical activities, and I know the run clubs get a lot of the play right now, but I think it's any athletics getting the sweat up, pheromones. It's gonna happen.
Or you can check out who's like the walkers. Maybe that's more your pace.
Exactly. Literally. And I mean, I think like there's something really great too about meeting people that have similar interests to you. So if you're a runner, it makes sense that like maybe that's a connection. You know, that's a starting point to build off of. So, you know, getting out and doing things that you enjoy help you meet people that align with you and your values.
Okay, the reason why I brought that up is because not that I'm going to this event to meet someone, but on Saturday, there is an event called Philly Midnight Run. It's happening on Saturday, July 25th, starting at 11 p.m. at the Art Museum. Organizers say, Abby, that 7,000 people are registered.
Oh, my God.
So people are going to either be running a 5K, walking, or jogging. I signed up for this like months ago. I think I saw like an ad on like Instagram, like, oh, yeah, Midnight Run. Yeah. But now that like, you know, hearing conversations and seeing things on social media, people are like, oh, run club. Oh, you're meeting somebody, you know, that sort of thing. But I'm honestly going for the vibes and, you know, switching up like what I normally do on a Saturday night.
Absolutely. And, you know, if your heart is open, you know, you never know when you'll meet someone or not. You don't have to. I think usually going in, not having expectations, not expecting to meet people, that's always when you meet someone, you know?
That's good advice. Listen to Abby. All right. Abby, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, nothing dating related. Oh, yeah. I'm off the market. Sorry, guys.
If you were wondering.
Hey, I used to give out my CityCast Philly card if I had a bad date, and I didn't want to give them my number. So sorry for any voicemails.
Some people also... Some people just give out like their Instagram handles.
Yeah.
Instead of their phone number. Like, what's your Instagram?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Is it like, so you're not getting like the text message and no one's like blowing up your phone? You're not getting that random like FaceTime call?
It's been long enough. It's been long enough that I'm not getting that anymore. Thank God. I think everybody knows my partner's plastered on everything now, so it's obvious. But actually, tonight I'm going to be going with my partner to some fun events. There is a vintage store on Fabric Row called At My House. Not At My House. It's called At My House. And they're hosting a mini art show, which I feel like is kind of a thing now. You know, like small art. I've seen it. Like people have been doing this across the country, across the world.
And Fabric Row, you mean like 4th Street?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Like off of South Street. Mm-hmm. It's where all of the fabric stores, or where many of the fabric stores have historically been in Philly. Really cute. Great vintage stores all along there. Love it over there.
I've listened to some of your recommendations. Yeah. I love the recommendation you gave me at Ace Outpost. Coffee shop on one side, thrift shop on the other.
Such a fun concept. And literally right across the street from there is where At My House is.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, I first saw the like mini art show thing happen in Philly at Stickball Vintage, which is in Old City more so. In like June, a couple years ago, they put on a mini art show specifically for chairs, like tiny chairs. And when I tell you, I could not get in there. Like it was like crazy.
People are obsessed with tiny chairs.
They have done 3 of these now. They have done 3 of these mini chair shows.
Like kind of like doll-sized chairs, or like chairs that humans can sit in?
No, they're like 6 inches tall. They're tiny, and so many artists in the area like have gotten in and done like their art in the like tiny chair rendition, and it's like kind of a thing now. Wow. But this particular mini art show happening today is even smaller. It's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So it is tiny art. They're also selling mini art prints for 50 cents. So some affordable art. You can't really hang it on your wall. Oh, maybe you could.
Maybe you could, like a bunch of tiny art.
100, yeah.
I'm sure someone's doing it.
And then I'm going to head over afterwards because that goes from 6 to 9. And it's a smaller shop, so I don't think you'll need that long to walk around and check everything out. But after that, I'm going to walk over to my favorite bar right now, Le Cavu, which is this really cute wine bar above Good King's Tavern. And you totally could miss it because there's no sign.
Is this the one we went to for the holidays?
We went to Good King's Tavern.
Oh.
Le Cavu was closed.
Closed, right. Oh, so yes. It's upstairs.
It's upstairs.
Okay.
There is a neon sign of a wine bottle, and if it's on, it's open, and you can go in. Yeah, very fun. And you have to go up some stairs, and it's up there. Really intimate, great, like, small bites. It's only open Thursday through Saturday, so, like, whenever I'm around there during that time, I'll go. Happy hours from 5 to 7. You can get like half glass pours of wine and French hot dogs, which hot dogs on a baguette. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you need to get the chocolate mousse. So I would very much recommend this spot. That's going to be my Friday.
Okay, well, maybe I need to go here because Friday night I'm going to go see Jill Scott at the Met.
Oh.
So we need to wrap up this episode so I can go.
Yeah, let's get you out of here.
Enjoy my Friday. But before we go, we have some CityCast Philly neighbor shout-outs. Our neighbor Alex G says they like exploring the city's perimeter through Walk Around Philadelphia. And that's been a great way for Alex to get to know the city a little bit better. And Alex says that they've also really enjoyed taking art classes at Fleischer Art Memorial. Abby, I love your recommendations. I love our recommendations from our neighbors. And you can also join us to become a neighbor. Give me your recommendations. Shout out your favorite businesses. Head over right now to membership.citycast.fm/Philly.
Yeah, and those shout outs are just one of the many perks of being a CityCast Philly neighbor. Another one is that you could get an invitation to our member-only event happening this next Monday, the 27th at Wick Historic House.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm so stoked. I've loved this spot, and I think we're going to put on such a fun event. You get to hang out with us and other neighbors. You're going to get a private tour of the property, which it's a very old historic rose garden and building there. It's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. After the tour, we're going to have a little picnic. You can hang out with us and eat some food. And then also there's going to be some live music playing in the area, so we'll be able to enjoy that as well.
I'm really excited for this because I've never been here, and I'm learning that the family that owned this property has owned it for 9 generations.
Which is incredible. I mean, that's so long to have a singular family, like, have a property.
That history goes deep.
If you want in on this, head over to membership.citycast.fm/Philly. You'll get all of the perks of being a CityCast Philly neighbor. You're going to get an invite to this. And you'll also get to listen to our next segment, which is for our members only, about tequila.
National Tequila Day. All right, so if you're not a member, that's the end. Hope you have a great weekend. Abby, it was so great talking with you on this Friday News Roundup.
Thanks so much, Trenae.
That's all for us today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our senior producer is Abby Fritz. Our producer this week is Matthew Rogers. And our newsletter editor is Siani Colon. And our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed the show, share this with a friend. Also, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with a special interview with Mayor Sherelle Parker. All right, we'll talk to you then. Bye.